In today's Facebook Live, we're going to make a cat topper. We're going to make it out of the Saracino modelling paste. I'm going to do a ragdoll. They are ragdolls, aren't they? A ragdoll?
They are, I think Emily's a ragdoll cat.
Yeah, we're doing Emily's cat. Emily is Richard's sister, and she's the lady who sends you all the links to everything we're using during these Facebook Lives.
A lot of people did ask for cake toppers as well. So.
Yes, people asked for cake toppers. So last Tuesday, yes. We asked you guys if you wanted cake toppers, cupcakes, cakes for the videos, and it was toppers that you chose. And I think I promised a cat the other day as well, didn't I? And then I changed it last minute. So it's a cat today. And I made these about an hour or so ago, so slightly more organised than I am normally. And we're going to do this one. They are the same, just different colours. So this one, the orange one, has got, I don't know which camera I'm in, this one. It's got pink nose and orange, but orange with a bit of white. Whereas this one is mainly the white and the brown. Okay.
Is it Saracino you're using again today?
Yes, the Saracino. The Saracino, is it Saracino? Saracino? I'm not actually sure how you say it, but the modelling paste. So that's what we're going to use today. I've been softening mine up already because it can be quite hard when you first start with it. It's pretty firm. So I'm just going to move these to one side a second. Do you need those in shot, Richard, or can I turn this round so that I've got something to look at when I'm working? Okay. So it's kind of going to be similar to the dog one we did. Did any of you guys catch the dog one we made the other day? Was it a couple of weeks ago now?
It was, yeah.
A few of you guys had seen
said
it.
they'd like to see a dog topper, which we did.
We did do it, so that's still available to watch. Do you want to pass the dog ones over, Richard? They're just on the side and that, and I'll show people what we made. Because it's kind of a similar format with these ones. A couple of little things are different, but it's mainly the same. Okay, so, yeah, so this is the dog we made. And a few of you guys have been making them because you've been sending me pictures of your versions of them, which is always nice. So if you do make them, feel free to tag me in the post because it is always nice to see what you've done. Especially in the Instagram stories, that's where I tend to see most stuff, isn't it? And also I can share your Instagram stories as well. So, yeah, so that one will be available still to watch on my Facebook page. In fact, it's on our YouTube channel as well.
Yep, it's on Facebook.
Yes, it's on our YouTube.
Are on Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah. Okay, so it's up to you what size you want to do, but whatever size you choose, I'm going to put the same amount of weight in the head as the body. I'm going to weigh it. I don't normally. I'm going to put a little bit more than that in, actually. I think that one's got, the first one I did, it's got about 60 grams in. This one, we're going to go slightly bigger, and we'll put 70 grams in. I'm just going to put this back in the bag so it doesn't dry out while I'm working with it. Oops, I should do that with my black as well. So, first thing you're going to do is knead it. So it's about 70 grams this. But like I say, if you want a smaller one, use less. If you want a bigger one, you can put more in. Okay, I'm going to try and roll the creases and cracks out. So I'm rolling pretty firmly. My hands are quite cold. That is edible black pen on my finger. I drew on it about 2 minutes ago by accident and I can't get it off. Okay. So I'm going to just put a bit of corn flour on my work surface because the last one I made stuck to my work surface. They don't normally, but it did last time. So just in case. Okay, so we're going to start with the ball. I'm going to press it slightly. So the cat's head is fairly flat from front to back, but I'm okay with that. I don't mind that. Okay, so we're pressing it down. And then what I'm going to do is I want it to have a fairly big forehead. I'm flattening it out a little bit on the bottom. So this is the bottom bit here. If it helps, you can pick it up and flatten it if that's easier. Okay, I'm going to try and bring it to almost like a point at the bottom two corners, but keeping the curve along the top. I'm going to see if it's a similar size to the last one. That's fine. It's a tiny bit bigger. Next, we're going to put in a little indentation for our nose. Now, when it's smaller, I can usually just draw a line in with this. So can you see a curve which would be above the nose? But because it's a fairly big head, I tend to find it easier to push my finger in to create. Can you see this kind of shape starting to come out there? It doesn't need to be really big. We're just, can you see me kind of hooking my finger around to make that shape? That's probably going to squash my head a tiny bit more.
We're using white paste again.
Oh, you mean because it doesn't show up very well?
Yeah.
Sorry.
White's not the best for camera.
White's nice and easy in that it's easy to change to different colours if I want to, you know, with shading and stuff.
Yeah.
Also, I wanted it because I wanted that kind of cat. Does that help? Can you guys see it? So it's basically a ball. We squash the bottom a little bit and brought it to sort of a bit of a corner here and here, that makes it worse.
Is it?
Yeah. It does from what I can see anyway. Oh no, it actually makes no difference. I don't know. If I shadow it with my hand, can you see the shape a bit more? So I've kind of done that with my finger. Okay, hopefully you'll be able to see the other bits a bit more. I'm going to just press in lightly with my fingers, just kind of above that arch we've done. I'm going to rub just gently so it dips in a little bit, not too much, just a little bit. Then what I'm going to do is work out where I want the eyes to go. So my eyes are going to kind of go either side of my nose, so about there and there. So I'll just use a small balling tool to make a little mark first. Yeah, I think about that should be fine. So I've got quite a lot of forehead, but I don't mind. That's absolutely fine on this. Then the next thing I'm going to do is the mouth. So I'm going to use the side of my knife and I'm going to go just slightly down from the top of the nose and I'm going to press. Can you see? So I'm using the side, so not the edge, but it's kind of flat. So that we get that kind of shape. It makes it look very sad, like a really miserable. Can you see it? Really miserable looking.
That's fine.
Oh, okay. So just in there like that. If you want to make it slightly happier, I'm going to use this one. We're going to bring it around. Can you see the edges a little bit? And if I put an indentation in there and there, it instantly makes it look, can you see, a little bit happier? Just smooth that out a bit with my fingers. Okay. That's kind of our nose area. We're going to put some colour on it as well shortly. So what I'm going to do is I just put a couple of little lines in. So I'll put a couple of little small lines just so it looks like a fluffier cat, because they're fairly fluffy cats, these. I'm very allergic to these cats. They're very cute. I'm very allergic to these. Okay, let's draw some longer lines kind of coming towards that. Can you see that outside point in the corner of the face? So we're not putting lines absolutely everywhere, just a few. In fact, I might even just pinch that out just a tiny, tiny bit, not too much. Okay, just going to press a little bit there so I've got a bit of a sort of chin under the mouth area. Okay, so what we want to do is add some colour to it, but as soon as I start getting the powders out, I get them on everything. So I'm going to put this to one side just for a minute while we work a bit on the body, and then I'll get the powders out. Otherwise, I'll roll the powders into my body. So, can you guys remember what amount we said, or I said we were going to use for the body? Same amount as the head. Who remembers what I used in the head?
I don't.
Yes, you do. I rely on you, Richard, to remember, because I forget.
About 70 grams, roughly.
Yeah, about 70.
We're not used to Zoe measuring things. Zoe normally
I'm not used to measuring things. 68, that's fine. 68 is close enough. Okay, so again, we're just going to knead it. And if you want to try this with fondant, you can do, but you would need to add Tylose or CMC. I'm not very good with fondant and CMC together for modelling, so for me it's just easier to use a modelling paste. It firms up pretty quick, so because I've got quite a big head, it's quite a lot of weight. If it's fondant, I have to make the body, let it dry for ages before I actually add the head, whereas in the modelling paste, it firms up quite quick, so I can add the head to the body fairly fast. Okay, I've got an itchy nose. So, which one are you on, Richard?
We just showing them little kits.
Okay, so I'm going to roll a teardrop out of my body shape. And it's up to you whether you want your cat really tall. So if you want a tall cat, go for slightly more kind of carrot shape than teardrop. And just have a little look at what it looks like. That may be too tall. I'm going to make them look like maybe mum and kitten. Maybe it's a bit too tall. It'll sink a tiny bit, I think, but it's fine. Okay, this one's taller. This other one's slightly shorter, so I would have just kept it a slightly more rounded shape. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line up the middle. I should have really made sure to smooth out all those creases. So pressing firm, I'm just using the pointy end of my Dresden tool. And then we're going to do another line just here and just here. So we're kind of creating the front legs. Ooh, one leg is a bit fatter than the other, but that's okay. Then this bit here, we're going to take round to create like the back leg. Or is it his thigh? I'm just rubbing my finger through that as well. So we'll use that end to go round a little bit. So I'll just make sure this bit looks fairly rounded. Do the same on this side. I always end up with one hip a bit higher than the other. Yep, same on this one. It's usually not too obvious though when you're finished. Okay. So we've got that kind of shape. This one's definitely a much taller, slimmer cat than that one. Okay, and the next thing I want to do is, no, actually I'm going to leave that for a little bit to firm up, and then I can do my dusting. Yeah, they're my main bits of white. It's going to have another piece of white that goes on the chest here, so it looks much fluffier, but we'll wait a minute to do that. So I'm going to get out my dusts. I was dusting earlier, so I'm just using the same piece of kitchen roll, so I try not to get it on too much stuff. And then we're going to go for a brown. This one's a milk chocolate, and then I'm going to go for a black. Okay, if you've got the petal dust palette, you can use that. It's absolutely fine to use that.
I've had somebody ask, just to refresh you, was it 70 grams for the head and the body?
It was, yes, we put it in both. So I'm going to go sort of more black on the nose, and then as we come up the face, a bit more brown. So I'm going to go for like kind of this eye area. Trying to get slightly less on as I'm coming up the head. I'll try and brush some out of my brush so that it gets a little bit paler as we come further out. It just looks like it's been up a chimney, doesn't it? It's like a chimney sweep.
You can say hello to somebody as well if you like.
Hi Milo, if Milo's watching. I don't think Milo likes watching me. Milo cries every time I say hello to him.
People might want to know who Milo is.
Milo is Richard's little nephew. I should say hello to Ella then, shouldn't I?
You should do.
Hi Ella. Ella's my niece. Sometimes she watches me on TV. And I've probably gone a bit heavy with the dusting. That's everywhere. This one's a bit darker than that one. You can't really see, can you, from that angle, but that's okay. Cats are all slightly different, aren't they? Oops.
Yes.
Just trying to get the excess powder out my brush, look. And then going over it. Okay, so we've got the colour on the face and all over me. And then what I'm going to do is put a bit of colour on sort of the bottom of the legs. So again, we're going to start darker at the bottom. So it's not going to go everywhere, just, well, it is going to go everywhere, but it's not intentional that it's going everywhere. It's not meant to go everywhere.
Zoe does like dust.
I do, I just don't like the mess that I make with it. Okay. This one's a bit darker in colour than my last one.
Milo says hello.
Oops, I blew on it then. Don't blow on them if you're going to eat them. But I did just blow on it, but you're not meant to, so please don't. No one's going to eat this one. I'm going to keep these on my shelf forever if they turn out all right. That is. What did you say? Sorry, Richard, I wasn't listening to you.
Said hello.
Did Milo say hello? Okay. So we've got most of the dusting done. We will use the dust again in a little bit, but not just yet. Let me move.
So did you say you're using cocktail sticks in these ones or not today?
Yeah, so I did in this one, so you wouldn't want to eat it anyway. So these ones I've already made, I've got a little cocktail stick in because they're not too tall. I can't get it in. This one, I think, I don't know if you can see that there or not, Richard.
Hang on, I'm gonna...
Height-wise, sorry, I'll turn it that way, it's a bit too tall for the cocktail stick. So I think what I'm going to do is use one of the kebab skewers. We do actually sell these, don't we? They come in like loads of different sizes. So you can just get big ones and cut them down to whatever size. But these ones were nice and close to hand. Even these might be just a tiny bit small. I might have to go up a size. I'm going to stick it in and see. So if I push this in here. So if it's shorter, you can use your cocktail stick. Oh, actually, no, that was fine height-wise. I'm going to turn it around. I'm going to have the point at the top so that my head goes on that point easily. I should have got myself something to wipe the work surface down with because everything's filthy. Okay, so we've got our main body parts. What I'm going to do now is what I would normally do is go wash my hands because everything's filthy. And the ragdolls have, oh, I headbutted the camera. The ragdolls have quite bright blue eyes, don't they? So, and this is going to save me a lot of time. I don't know if you guys remember the pearls that I used in Tuesday's video. Have I used them in a few videos? I love these pearls.
The bunny rabbit video,
we did sell out. I know a few people couldn't get hold of them on Tuesday, so I apologise that you couldn't get hold of them. We've got some back in stock, yeah. We haven't got many though.
No,
but we have got some back in stock. So I'm gonna pop them in for the eyes. They're not perfectly round.
That looks scary.
Yeah, they do look a bit scary. Just try and push them in fairly deep. Okay, then if it sort of causes your face to bulge, just push that back round. Yeah, but they have really bright blue eyes, don't they?
Yeah.
Then I'm just going to take an edible pen.
Oh, can you eat the pen?
And I think most of you guys have got these pens now already, which is good. So maybe, should I have it looking to one side or should I have it looking straight ahead? I like them looking straight ahead.
Again, a few people have asked that just joined, can they watch this tutorial? Sheila's just asked. Sheila, you can watch it back on the Facebook page. It will be it'll be on the Facebook page as soon as this is finished.
Yeah, it's available to watch from the beginning. And also we tend to do a version of it that goes on Facebook. Not YouTube even. I get everything mixed up. What's in my head is different to what comes out my mouth. This one I'm going to do looking to one side, so I'm going to put the black both on one side, whereas on this one it's kind of a little bit bog-eyed. Emily said that Reggie's a bit bog-eyed though, so that's okay. That's acceptable. Reggie is Emily's cat for anybody that's just tuned in. He's a ragdoll, and that's who we're making. Well, we're just making a generic ragdoll really, but we'll pretend it's Reggie. He's a very cute cat, isn't he?
Big cat.
Yeah. The balls are actually pretty slippery when you draw on them, so my pen's kind of sliding about. So this one's got like a massive black bit in the eye on one side, so I might have to change it. And my little area that I'm leaving, can you see, for the shine, is in a slightly different place. It's supposed to be in the same place, but it's not. Yeah, I'm going to have to make that one much bigger. Can you see, to match? Because it's got a lot more blue on show on this one and that one.
Should we put the faces down so people can see what you're comparing them with?
Don't let them fall apart. Yeah, so this one I've tried to do looking to one side. I actually wish I'd gone for the middle now. It looks weird. Right, you can move that one out of the way a second. Okay, let's give him a nose. I'm going to use brown for the nose. We want a tiny bit of water where the nose is going to go, but not too much. So usually I put water on my brush and then kind of dab off the extra on my hand. And I'm going to put just above where that sort of V is that we put in for the mouth area. Can you see where I put the water? It brings off the powder, so just make sure you don't put the water everywhere, otherwise you'll end up with a really big smeary face. Okay. And for anybody that's tuned in, it's not muck on my hands, it is the black and brown edible dust we've just used. So a tiny bit of brown. In fact, look, it's already made this go slightly blacker from the base, from the powder on my hands.
Got people from all over the world joining us again. Got
Hi
Australia,
everyone.
Philippines,
fantastic.
America.
So we're making little nose. So we start with an oval, and then I kind of squished it at the bottom so it's slightly more triangular shape-wise, like that. If you want it a bit darker, you can always, draw a little line under there. Oh, could you get me one of my white pens actually? I don't know, I put my white pens. I was going to put a little highlight of white on his nose. And then, just because...
I don't know where your white pens are.
Oh, never mind. I don't have to. Thanks. There we go. Richard's found my white pen. Oh, I'm going to do that on the other one as well over here. Just so it's got a bit of shine on its nose. Okay, so I want more brown now for its ears. I'm not very good at gauging the size of cat's ears though. I think I usually go a bit too big.
Not that the size you got an looks okay.
They don't really look like cats, do they though, until you put ears on, I don't think. Yeah, I wish I'd gone smaller with the blacks in its eyes on this one. I say that every time, don't I?
Well,
but you don't know what you like until you've done it. That's what I find.
You could pull the eyes out and put another pair of wet.
No, I can't because I'll ruin the face. Sometimes it not looking quite as I want is okay, because when I try and correct it, I make more of a mess. So sometimes it's better to leave it as it is than to change it. Unless I'd done it like really wrong. Okay, so do you want me to weigh this actually for you guys so you can see how much paste I'm using in the ears? It might be that there's too much, we'll see. 6.7 grams. So we start with a ball and then we kind of pinch it either end and then we kind of flatten it just a little bit. I think that should be okay. Now, instead of cutting it straight, we're going to cut at a bit of an angle. Actually, no, I'm going to use my big knife rather than my craft knife. So instead of going like that to make two, we're going to angle it slightly like that. Oops, although I think I've cut one slightly bigger than the other. Because can you see now, if I put it like this, that slope will fit better against the head than if I had the flat line. But it depends what angle you want the ears to come up in, really. Okay, so now I've done that, I'm going to dip them slightly in the middle here. just a little bit so we get them to curve round a bit.
Your hands look filthy.
Yeah, I know. It's the black powder. It's all this. So I'm a very messy worker. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is put some little lines in the ears so the ears look nice and fluffy. So I'm going to kind of do it from the middle of the ear outwards. It's not exactly the same in both, but that's okay. And in fact, I'm going to dust some more powder on.
Oh, more powder.
I'm going to put some black on the edges. Although these ears are pretty dark, so you might not see much of a difference. No, you probably see that much.
Now as well.
Fantastic. What time is it over there?
I don't know.
Hi everyone that's joining us.
I imagine it's quite late in the evening. I think somebody said it's about 8 PM over in Australia at the moment.
Somebody messaged the other day to say they watched at like, I can't remember if it was like 4 AM. 4 AM, and I was like, wow, that's dedication getting up at that time to watch. Okay, so I'm going to stick it on. I don't want to stick it too close to the top, but you don't want to stick it like at the side either, because then it won't look like a cat. So kind of, I'm not sure how to describe that angle. There and there. Just there and there. And then I want the points of the ears kind of upwards a little bit. This is where I should probably look at what a cat actually looks like for whether the ears point upwards or outwards a bit. Do they just point upwards? We don't have a cat, so I don't know. I'm really allergic to cats.
We have a French bulldog that looks like a bat.
Yeah, I don't think cat's ears are quite the same as his though. Right, okay, so.
He acts like a cat.
Head. Dirty looking head done. It's as filthy as me. Okay, so now we need some little feet on this and also the piece of chest hair. So we've got our brown modelling paste.
The ears do make you look more cat-like now.
It does, it makes a big difference, and so will having a tail as well. I don't want big paws, I just want small paws. I'm going to roll almost like a little tic-tac. Actually, it's slightly bigger than a tic-tac. I'm going to go a bit smaller. Do you want me to weigh it, guys?
Yes, please. Says Richard.
0.61 of a gram.
Right.
So normally I would never weigh things like that. I'm not weighing the rest.
It's 10 o'clock in New Zealand.
Ah.
There you go.
In the evening. Oh, it's not too bad then. Not too bad. Yeah, I'm not overly worried if these aren't all the same size as each other, as long as they look roughly the same size. You guys can tell I'm not a perfectionist, and I know that most of you guys are. When I run classes, everybody in the class is a perfectionist, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just not. I don't worry if things are exactly even.
Would you say a bit slapdash?
I am quite slapdash with stuff, yeah. I'm very slapdash with stuff. The problem is when I work on something for a long time, I get bored and I never finish it. So when I spend ages perfecting stuff and getting it just right, I just get fed up before I've reached the end of what I'm doing, and then it never ends up getting finished.
A bit like, was it the first birthday present you ever made me? That painting you did.
Yeah, you bring this up every
No.
Facebook Live.
Zoe did a painting for me. Started it about 9 years ago, and it's never been finished.
Nope. It's because I got bored.
Might
of
have to
doing
get
it.
on camera one day.
I got bored of it. I got bored of doing it. Okay, so we stuck the kind of tic-tac shapes on. So I put water on the bottom of each bit. We stuck those on so that they're kind of wider than they are tall. And then we're just going to put 2 lines in each bit. So it's now got a little feet. If you want, you can just colour on, but I don't think it needs any colour dusting on that. And it's going to look much nicer when we get like the piece of fur on the front. My piece of fur is probably going to be filthy looking because of my fingers. I'm not going to need too much. It's usually less than you think you need for this next bit.
This is the chest.
This is the chest.
You're going to wear the chest out as well. Yes.
Can do.
Everything else has been wearing today.
I'm going to take a bit more off. So we've like, obviously because I don't weigh stuff normally, I just take off a piece, I roll a very rough shape, and then I'll kind of hold it against what I'm doing to see if I think it looks right or not. And then if it doesn't, I can take some off or add some. It's not a problem. This is about 11.26 grams.
Somebody's asked where we get our scales from.
We got these off Amazon,
Yeah,
did we?
I think, yeah, the little scales we've got, they're a bit, I don't...
They were expensive, weren't they?
Yeah.
Just off Amazon. Okay, the dirty coloured chest piece now. We're going to start by rolling into a fat teardrop, and then we're going to press it down a little bit, sort of more so around the edges, leaving it fairly thick here in this central bit. And then I'm going to put some little lines kind of coming down the edge. So this is what we did on the dog tutorial as well. in exactly the same way. So like I say, if you missed the dog one, you can still watch that back on our Facebook page and even on our YouTube channel as well. Do you guys all watch the YouTube videos? I know sometimes people don't realise actually that we've got a YouTube channel. It's good in that if you want more detailed videos. It's different for the Facebook Lives because you've got me talking through this anyway as I'm doing it. But for a lot of like the 3-minute videos that you see on our Facebook page, there's the full length ones on our YouTube channel with me talking over what we do, and then underneath there's always links to what we've used and things. So it is always worth checking our YouTube channel stuff. Okay, you can leave it just plain white, or we can add a little bit of dust to the edges. So I'm just going to add.
You said if they can't get hold of pearls, what else? How else could they make the eyes?
So you can just make that in a ball of modelling paste. Yeah.
There you go.
It just saved me a lot of time, and also because they've got a shine, it's quite nice. Although I've coloured so much of it in, you don't really see the shine anymore. Quite often when I'm doing things, I just use black ones. So if it hadn't been the ragdoll one that I was deciding to do, I was just going to use the plain black pearls, which would have been fine, and then I wouldn't have had to draw a black bit in. I would have just left it with just a black ball in its eye. I'm just going to stick this on the front.
There you go. Yeah.
But what was I saying? I forgot what I was on about. Yeah, because it was the ragdoll and I knew they had bright blue eyes. I thought, oh, I know that I had opened these anyway for another tutorial, so I thought I might as well use them. And then I thought, for those of you that did get hold of the sugar pearls, you can see that you can use them for other things as well.
The cat looks like it. The cat's looking like it worked down in the mines.
Yeah, it does look pretty dirty, doesn't it? Okay, so that's done. So now I need to just check the amount of stick coming out the back of the head, so that if I hold that on there, I need to check that that isn't coming out of the top here.
Yep.
Okay, if it is, I would just need to cut it down. Then what I'm going to do is put some water on here, and then I'm going to slide the head on. I haven't actually seen what it looks like from the back. It's probably, it's covered in dirt. It's not dirt, it's dust.
I like to turn it around for the camera.
Well, I have to have it facing me to do it. I know that this makes it difficult, but when I do it backwards, I can't see what I'm doing, and it always ends up wrong. So I've slid it on. Can you see near the back of the head, not near the front, because it doesn't look right if it's near the front. This is where I honestly don't know what it's going to look like now because I'm doing it from this angle. Then I push down.
It looks fine.
Okay, I'm just going to turn that around so you can see, oh look, it's filthy on its back. And if you want, you could just do all the dusting at the end. If there's dust where you don't want it, just use a brush with a little bit of water or even alcohol on, and you can rub that off. Although I'm going to make it a bit sticky now while I've done that. Did you hear my tummy rumble again?
Yeah.
It's always rumbling. It's probably going to rumble a lot in the next. I'm just going to neaten up its eye a little bit. You guys can't see what I'm doing. I'm just, where I can see the black isn't quite very even, I'm just filling it in a tiny bit. They're a bit small for me to add whiskers to. You could add whiskers. Oops, almost fell over. Just make sure it's not too front heavy. This one, can you see it's fairly front heavy? When I put the tail on, it should hopefully help it balance backwards a bit. So we want a nice big bushy tail. Not only because the ragdolls do have big bushy tails, but because I need the weight to hold it back in place. Or should I move its head further back? I'm going to just move its head a second, just a tiny bit. Just a little bit. There we go. Oh, its head's a bit of a tilt now, but that's okay. It's not an intentional tilt, but it's okay. As long as it doesn't topple. Like, it's fine for the heads to tilt, as long as you know that the weight isn't too much that it brings the whole thing over. We're going to have to watch out for that now, just in case. Just in case it does tilt over. Is it starting to look like mum and baby? Maybe. That's not small enough for a baby, is it? Big sister, little sister.
Leaning a bit.
No, I don't think he is leaning. I think it's just that I put the head on lopsided. I'm just going to face them towards me a second so I can see. I'm going to put its tail at this side so that, it will stop it falling. So it'll be the opposite side to that one. I'm going to go big for the tail. So remember, before I wait, I'm going to have a look at the size of it first to see if I think the size is going to be all right. This one's got a massive tail. That's fine. Massive is okay. So in this one, I am using 36.98 grams.
36.98.
Yes. Okay, let's roll it properly now. So I want to keep it fairly thick, but I'm going to roll it thinner at one end than the other. So the thin end will connect to the body and the chunky end will be the bit that's around here. But even at the chunky end, I still want a slightly thinner bit here. So we'll bring it to a bit of a point because it's chunky and then it gets thin again. And it's going to come around here, like that. So I'm just going to put a bit of, I was going to say colour on it. I don't want any colour on it. It's the right colour. I'm going to put some lines in it. So again, using the ridge on the back of my Dresden, we're going to draw some lines across. Does it show better on the dark one, or can you not really see it on the dark one either? Pick two bad colours, dark and the brown and the white both don't show very well. So can you see when I'm putting the lines, I'm kind of curving them around a little bit so there's some movement in the tail. You don't need to do the underneath because you're not going to see the underneath bit. So I'm doing around the sides first. Okay, it's pointless me putting any on the very end that's going to connect because when I push it onto the figure, I'm going to squash it anyway. So we're going to put some lines on after. Where's my brush? So I'm going to put some water up here because it's going to connect with the back of its bum. But I'm also going to put some along here where when I pull it around the side of the cat, it will stick in place. Okay, so we'll start here in the middle at the back and we're going to curve that around like that. So it's a massive tail, this one, but it's fine. Like I say, it's going to offer it a bit of support as well as this tail. Then once you've done that, you can put little lines in place. I can't see the back of its tail very well, so I can't really tell what I'm doing, but it should be okay. Okay, so if I turn this around this way, and that's it, done. All finished. But can you guys see the similarities? I probably shouldn't pick up the white dog, should I? Because it's also going to look like it's been stuck up a chimney. So we made the body and everything just the same way. The face is similar. It's not exactly the same. A couple of little tweaks. Oh, okay. But yeah, it's pretty much the same kind of thing. This one again, just the same, but in different colours. So on this one, instead of dusting the nose with a darker colour, I actually dusted it with white. So white around here, white on the chest, and then I went for a darker orange to like brush stripes on it. Okay. Did I do anything else? And that one got a pink nose, whereas these ones have a darker nose. That's in the way of you seeing my cat. I don't know where to put it. Okay, so let me put all these in shot for you guys. So I hope that video was okay for you all, and I hope that this figure stays upright. It should do, I think. Its body actually looks upright. I know it looks like it's tilting, but it's just its head. Its body from the back looks pretty upright. I'm just going to get rid of some of that dust on the back of it that makes it look dirty. Okay, so that was today's video. Let me know what you guys fancy for Tuesday. I may or may not choose to do what you pick, depending on how hard it is. I like easy stuff, nice easy stuff. And I don't know what time is it now?
It is just before 11:10.
11:10. So we've got our next Facebook Live at 11:30.
At 11:30, yeah.
11:30, but it's not on my actual Facebook page. It's on the community group page,
which is called Zoe's Fancy Cakers.
Yeah, which is Zoe's Fancy Cakers. I think quite a few of you guys are probably already members on there. You do have to be a member, so if you want to watch the 11:30 video of 11:30 Facebook Live, you will need to just go to the page Zoe's Fancy Cakers and click that you want to join.
And we'll make sure that you're accepted before we
Yeah, and then we'll try and accept as many of you as we can before 11:30. 11:30, I'm not going to be making anything. It is just a question and answers session. So if there's anything you want to ask me, feel free, ask away. Doesn't matter if it's cake related or not. I just might not know the answer to your questions. I might not, even if it's cake related, I might not still know the answers. But you can ask away anyway. Is there any questions any of you guys want to ask on here about this video before I go?
Just to remind people that it'll be available on our Facebook page after this.
Yep, so you can watch it back on our Facebook page as soon as this is ended. Does it take like 5 minutes to go on the page? Or?
I think it goes on.
I think it goes on pretty much straight away.
Yeah.
So if you did miss the beginning, you can watch it back. We'll also get it on YouTube. It probably won't be till tomorrow that it goes on YouTube though.
And also, you've got another Facebook. You're doing something else on Friday as well.
Oh, yes, Friday. So whoever watched on Tuesday, do you guys remember me saying that I was going to be on... you've not even got me in shot, have you? Not that people want to see me, but I realised I was looking at the camera and I wasn't even on the camera. Yeah, those of you that watched on Tuesday, do you remember I said I'm doing Cake International, which I am still doing. So we're doing like a dog cake or a dog face cake for it, which I'm looking forward to. But I told you it was a Saturday. It's not. I'm on the Friday. So I got my days wrong.
Do you know what time we're on?
11 or
11 o'clock.
11 o'clock, 11ish. So they said it's about that time. I don't know. I think it depends on if the person before me runs behind or not as to whether mine ends up a little bit later, but I'd be ready for it at 11 if you do want to watch it. And that's on the Cake International page. Is that one that you're going to be able to watch that? And I think that's everything I need to tell you for the time being.
That'll do you for now. We look forward to seeing you, as many of you as we can, at 11:30.
Yes. Thanks, guys. See you later. Bye.